it's a good deal. It's time for Wretched. It is imperative that you use God's principle.
I actually go ghost hunting a lot.
Yeah, have you found any?
Yes.
Really? Satisfy yourself by saying, well, it doesn't matter. All roads lead there anyway. Hello and welcome to Wretched. My name is Todd Friel. I am your host. The wretch the song refers to what you're about to see. It may comfort you, it may encourage you, or it might just get way up your nose. But these days, there is an assault on the gospel. We would like to take you to the Shepherd's Conference. Look at how much money we're saving you. You'd have to fly all the way to California, spend all that time in fellowship with a bunch of believers. Who needs all of that when you can just get a tight little summary right here?
There are many hits upon the purity and the exclusivity of the gospel in this hour, from cults, from false religions, from the Roman Catholic Church, from the new perspective on Paul, to non-lordship advocates, to social gospel proponents, from the universalists, and from many others.
Yeah, but other than that, we're safe and sound. It's the church's job to guard the gospel. That is Steve Lawson answering the basic question, I guess it has to be asked these days, what is the gospel?
God Himself is the gospel. And to move away from the gospel is to move away from God, because there is solidarity and there is unity between God and His gospel. The gospel is God's gospel. Romans 1 verse 1 tells us that. This is God's truth. This is God's power. This is God's message. And to abandon God's message is to abandon God Himself.
Oh, there's so many preachers these days who go, oh, we just don't need to preach the cross all the time. Oh, don't you know? When we preach the gospel, we preach not just the cross, but it demonstrates everything about God.
Every attribute of God is most beautifully put on display in the spectacle of the theater of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
I kind of just did a John Piper, didn't I? That's kind of a Piper move, isn't it? There's the true gospel and there is the false.
There is the true gospel and there is the false gospel. There is the saving gospel and there is the non-saving gospel. There is the gospel of divine accomplishment and there is the false gospel of human achievement.
Oh, you can do it. You can do all things through Jesus who strengthens you. Just find yourself a life verse and camp out and speak and you can do anything. That is not the gospel.
Why is Jesus the only way of salvation? No one else has been born of a virgin and lived a sinless and perfect life. No one else can give to me His perfect righteousness by His obedience under the law. No one else has died in my place, bearing my sins and carrying them far away. No one else has suffered the wrath of God for me upon the cross and has satisfied, appeased, and placated the anger of God toward me. No one else has reconciled me to an infinitely holy God. No one else has redeemed me out of my slavery to sin and to Satan. No one else has washed away my sins, leaving me as pure as white snow. No one else has been raised for my justification. No one else is seated at the right hand of God the Father, interceding for me, continuing to keep me saved. Not Buddha, not Allah, not Mary, not the Pope, not some Unitarian being, not Joseph Smith, not Mary Baker Eddy, and certainly not me, myself, on my own behalf.
No, we've got this beautiful gospel the only way, and we've got a boatload of knuckleheads who want a new gospel?
Paul was amazed that the Galatians had deserted this one true saving gospel, and so should we be astonished whenever we see it in our own day. We too should be bewildered when we see evangelicals want to sign something like an ECT document and pretend that there is no difference between Rome and the gospel of Jesus Christ. We should be astonished when we see certain so-called Christian leaders go on Larry King Live and punt away the gospel.
Okay, remember that part about getting up your nose? This is that part.
Larry King. Because we've had ministers on our program who said, you either believe in Christ or you don't. If you believe in Christ, you're going to heaven. And if you don't, no matter what you've done in your life, you ain't. I wonder what minister would ever say that on the Larry King program. Listen to the response of one of the biggest, grandest Christian so-called leaders in America. Yeah, I don't know. I still think he'd make a great weatherman someday, but... His wife's really a better preacher, but anyway. King. What if you're Jewish? What if you're a Muslim? And you don't accept Christ at all? Question mark. The answer. You know, I'm very careful about saying who would and who wouldn't go to heaven. I don't know. King. If you believe you have to believe in Christ, they're wrong, aren't they? The answer. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I believe they're wrong on worldwide television, so I don't know. Give us some men who know the truth and who will declare the truth and who will stand with Athanasius and Polycarp and Calvin and Luther and Whitfield and Edwards and who will declare from the housetops that the gospel is the power of God unto salvation.
Yeah, that a boy. Maybe we got up your nose, but hey, we were a good deal. This is Wretched.